Yankees. So I mentioned that at the top of the show. They've been underperforming for most of the year. Consistency's been an issue. At times, start of the year, the pitching was great. That kind of returned to normal. The hitting has seen really good bright spots and then has kind of struggled at times, for sure. And, early in the year, and I think still right now, the game of baseball, and I know New York media has just looked at the Yankees lineup and really scratched your head because it's a good lineup. It should produce at a high level. They should be hitting better than they are, and they're really not. So it's kind of confusing. A question I asked Justin was just kind of Justin Shackle, of course, our interview later, why this was happening. But Dylan, I'm going to ask you the same question here. What's your thoughts on the Yankees right now? Do you think this offense has a chance to kind of break out of the slump that seemingly is embodied the whole half of the season so far?
Well, it's an interesting question that you would think has a more obvious answer because of course you could be like, well, of course they have the opportunity to bounce out of it. I mean, look at the names in this lineup. You got Aaron Judge, you got Giancarlo Stanton, you got DJ LeMahieu. These are guys that, of course, and it goes without saying that they came to New York to hit the ball. As good as DJ LeMahieu is defensively, that's not why the Yankees signed him. So what it comes down to is, of course, they can produce. But you look at the reasons why they are not. And, I think a lot of people would say this is it might be too presumptuous to say, but I think the pressure that this Yankee team is under coming into this year has had some kind of effect on them. Like I think they felt they could come at it not lackadaisically, but in a more nonchalant way that really just does not define a championship team, does not define a competing team. You can't frown your way into the playoffs. Does that make sense? So if I'm the Yankees, that's what I'm thinking is like there's no fire here. There's nothing there. There's nothing to invigorate them, and which is interesting because there are some personalities on this team. So I don't understand what's happening, and that's why I'm going to go. I don't know what's going to happen.
Before you say something, Andrew, I just want to with the fire on the team. I totally agree. Like. This might not have totally to do with the team, but more with the fan base. Last night, Friday night, they went to full capacity, and there was, I think, 24,000 people there.
Oh boy!
Which is,
Yankee fans don't show up till October. We all know it.
Well,
at least September.
Game at full capacity in over.
I'm telling you.
Year, it's like I don't know. I think that's a big sign of just where people's minds and hearts are at with this Yankee team right now, and it's reflected in the clubhouse too. They're just right. They lack that fire. Sorry, I just want to get that.
No, I think it's definitely a thing with Yankee fans expect their teams to be in October, 100%. And I know a lot of Yankee fans that don't start tuning in to all the games until September or when they already won the division. It's just, and that's the pedigree of the New York Yankees. And this team, if they feel it, they don't. I think that also falls on the manager you shouldn't expect, no team should expect you're, in the playoffs, especially with this current format where, you don't have as many spots, only have the 5 spots, which I actually like a lot. But again, I think this Yankees team, it comes down to, I think the offense, and it comes down to them not hitting home runs at the same rate that they did in years past. They're 9th in home runs right now. They're usually 1. And that's, look, a 9th is still good. That's top 10 in baseball, but not 1. And they still K a good amount. They're bottom 10 in strikeouts. They're 23rd in runs. And you're hoping that guys start hitting well. And, there's a few average guys that I think the Yankees, I think they will start hitting well. I think DJ LeMahieu is not going to be a 260 hitter when the guy was hitting 330, over the past few years. And, you could talk about some other guys as well. The names are in the lineup. It could be Urshela. It could be, that's the thing. They have everybody here. It's kind of just like these guys got to start hitting to the back of their baseball cards. I think they will. I think the Yankees probably will turn it around, but the division is, I don't know if this team wins the division. I don't think it does actually at this point. Maybe they sneak into a wild card. Maybe they start, I think they're still above water though. They're still 3 games over, which isn't awful. It just takes 1 8-game winning streak, 10-game winning streak, whatever it is, which, anybody can go on to really get back into that race. I don't think they're out of it. Just right now they seem like a 500 ball club, and they're not getting the clutch hits, not getting the clutch home runs, not getting the clutch strikeout enough. And that's kind of why I think, they've struggled.
Well, can I say real quick,
Go ahead,
I think this is just like this feels like what it was naturally going to happen with the Yankee franchise. Like there's a certain mentality of a very Steinbrennian, we're the Yankees and this is supposed to happen. And I think like when the team stops producing and there's nothing to carry your momentum, there's no momentum to be carried. Nothing's going to happen. Like if there's not something there, then you can't just expect that something's going to happen.
Andrew, you just mentioned the division. And I find that a really interesting conversation because going into the year, obviously it was the Yankees division to lose. That was what everyone thought. They were at the top of the division, no questions asked. And it's kind of the perfect storm with the Yankees not playing well offensively, not producing at the level they should, and the AL East kind of overperforming and playing better than everyone thought. You have the Rays who I think
don't lose baseball games.
They never in the regular season, no matter who they bring out there, they're going to win games. It's a miracle. I don't know how they do that, but and then even the Red Sox are overperforming a lot, I would say. And then the Blue Jays are kind of sticking around right near the Yankees, third, fourth position. But this AL East has been way better than people thought, which is why all season we've said, and earlier in the year we said, the Yankees will figure this out. The Yankees will get out of this. Eventually, we're going to see how good they are. Eventually, they're going to turn things around. I'm a lot less optimistic about that now just because of how good this division actually might stay to be. I think the Rays are going to be a good playoff team. I really don't see why they can't be. And then even the Red Sox, maybe they're not built to really sustain how good they are right now, but I think they could still make a wild card. I really think that's not out of the question. So this Yankees team, it's not a walk through the park for the division anymore. It certainly isn't, because I think the Rays are going to be there. Even the Red Sox, and then of course the Blue Jays, who are going to get even better. And I mean, we talk about, this window is kind of closing, where these young stars on these younger contracts, these rookie contracts are ending here, which I think is very concerning. Which I think calls to the deadline, and the Yankees really need to go out and get somebody. Maybe a bat, maybe a starting pitcher, maybe both. Andrew, do you have an idea of a guy maybe that they could go out and get?
I think they need one of each. And see, like if I was, I'll give one player of each really quickly. And I think the hitter, I think you need a professional hitter. I think right now you would like a center fielder. I think Charlie Blackmon could be a guy that you add. I know he hasn't played, a ton of, I think he's obviously getting older center field. I don't know how much you want to play him in center field instead of the corner outfield. I think he could probably for a half a season get by. I mean, even Yoenis Cespedes, he played a half a season in center field with the Mets. So I think he could probably, give them quality at bats. Everyone talks about the Coors Field effect, but it's not like he's going to this, pitcher's ballpark of Yankee Stadium with the short porch and everything. So I don't think that'll be much of an issue. And I think he really would give this lineup just some nice depth, get some big hits. I think he could definitely, be a nice add. I don't think it would cost that much. And then pitcher, I'm going to go Jose Barrios from the Twins. I think he's a guy that probably going to cost a lot because definitely, you're going to have him for a few years just because he's under contract. But 3.5 ERA, 81 Ks, he's going to be able to come in there, give you quality innings, get you strikeouts, be that 2 to Cole. And if Kluber comes back, you're hoping he's there as well. And then, you're starting to believe, hopefully with the hitting getting better, you're starting to say, okay, this team could be good in October.
Yeah, go ahead, Dylan. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off, but it's interesting because I hadn't thought much about Blackmon. I think specifically in terms of needing a center fielder, which is what people have been talking about for a while now with the Yankees. I think a lot of people have said the main name being thrown around is Ketel Marte, which is an understandable name. Is a great all-around player who could play there. But you know what? I actually think Blackmon might be the better choice now that I think about it, because the Yankees are fine defensively. They'll do just fine. What they need is another powerhouse, and one that's coming from a little more powerful of a team at this point. And to be honest, the Colorado Rockies have been better offensively this year than the Yankees have been. So you know what?
That says a lot.
I said it. So you know what, Blackmon, I like that choice. It's a good one.
Yeah, I think that the Yankees definitely need to do something at the deadline. The urgency, the pressure Dylan mentioned earlier, it's really mounting here. I think, if the Yankees want to find themselves in the hunt for the division and in the playoffs, I think you need two pieces, to be honest. With the Kluber injury and the Severino injury, the starting pitching needs a boost for sure. And then you need a bat, especially with Aaron Hicks, who has been out for the season. So that's certainly a little concerning for Yankees fans, but something I guess to look forward to at the